I'm sitting in the right spot.
So how do we get around it?
It's going through our stuff.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, so it's working for now.
Okay.
So I have my personal camera open so I can
Oh,
look
okay.
live, so it's looking through the our camera.
Yeah, let me move over a little bit. A bit more. Even.
Here. This council meeting is called to order in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting of October 16, 2023 was published in the Courier News and Star Ledger and placed on the borough's website. Notice of this meeting was also placed on the bulletin board at Borough Hall with a complete agenda. In addition, a copy of this notice is available to the public, and a copy of this statement shall be included in the minutes of this meeting. Mayor Dennis Sullivan.
Here.
Council members, Granville Brady.
Here.
Tom Mitchell.
Here.
Gina Stravic.
Here.
Roger Vroom.
Here.
Teresa Bonner.
Here.
Randy Pitts.
Please stand and join me in the flag salute and remain standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We generally have moments of silence for distinguished and contributing members of our community. Tonight, I'd like to just draw upon Somerville's long, rich tradition of inclusion and celebration of our diversity as a community. And I'd just like to offer a moment of remembrance for the people in, not just in the Middle East, but in the world that are suffering right now because of a lack of sensitivity to diversity. A moment of silence for people of the world. Thank you. We have one set of minutes from October 2nd. I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Council members, Granville Brady.
Yes.
Tom Mitchell.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Teresa Bonner.
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes. We have departmental reports and notices, the animal control report for September. I have one proclamation. I'll move that as, on November the 4th, at about 12:30 or 1 o'clock, the Native American Heritage Commission will have an event on Division Street, and I will present this proclamation at the time. I'll read it now and invite the public to attend November 4th, which is Saturday, anytime between 12:30 and 1 o'clock. Whereas during Native American Heritage Month, we celebrate indigenous people and rededicate ourselves to honoring tribal sovereignty and upholding trust and treaty responsibilities to tribal nations. Therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Dennis Sullivan, Mayor of the Borough of Somerville, along with the Borough Council, hereby proclaim November as Native American Heritage Month in the Borough of Somerville and urge all residents to recognize the contributions of Native Americans by attending the second annual Native American Heritage Month celebration held in Somerville Borough. Kevin, I will hang on to this and present it to the group on November 4th.
Great.
Before we get into the rest of the regular meeting, I have a presentation that's been 10 months in the making. If you were at our reorg meeting on January 1st, you were witness to the honoring of Joe Stitley as the 2022 Citizen of the Year. For a number of reasons, the plaque itself was not ready. It's been ready for a while, and it's been moving around my house because Joe works 18 hours a day, 12 days a week. He's here tonight as a dad with the rest of his kids. I will not read the entire proclamation, but Joe, if you would join me up front. This is the Borough of Somerville 2022 Citizen of the Year. Joseph P. Stitley for his outstanding volunteerism to the residents of the Borough of Somerville. I'll just read the first paragraph. Joe continues a long tradition of service to the Somerville community, volunteering for Somerville First Aid and Rescue Squad and the Fire Department from an early age. A graduate of Somerville High School, he continued his education by earning an associate degree in criminal justice from Raritan Valley Community College. Joe joined the squad as a cadet in 2004, quickly advanced in that fine organization, becoming EMT Rescue Chief in 2009. That same year, he became a member of the Lincoln Hose Company No. 4, bringing a new dimension to firefighting through his skills as an emergency medical technician. His responsibilities with Lincoln Hose have grown steadily over the years, beginning with his selection as head driver in 2014. Joe's commitment to the fire department and his strong leadership skills have been recognized by his peers with his subsequent promotions to lieutenant in 2015, captain in 2017, and company chief in 2019. His current position as first deputy chief on the Board of Engineers is preparing him for added responsibilities within the fire department moving forward. For his outstanding volunteerism and service to the Borough of Somerville, it is my honor and privilege to name Joseph P. Stitley as the 2022 Somerville Borough Citizen of the Year, signed Dennis Sullivan, Mayor, dated January 1, 2023. It's been a long time in coming, Joe, but congratulations. I will also add that you are the second person in your family, I believe, to be so honored. So there'll be, I guess, a rivalry at the Thanksgiving dinner this year, but well-deserved. Joe represents all of the organizations that he's a member of. We could have hundreds of these made. This is an easy choice, and congratulations going forward. We love you, and we appreciate everything you do for us. Plus, he's a dad as well. So.
Most
Again,
important.
well done. Okay, Kevin, we have a public hearing on the proposed bidder for the pre-qualification regulations for the entry portico and exterior restoration project at the Roberts Mansion, also known as Borough Hall. Kevin, a little bit of quick background on that?
Sure. This is, most of the construction projects that we have require an open public bidding process. This process is a little different since the municipal building is on the federal and state registrar for historic facilities. We applied to the state of New Jersey to only allow bidders that are qualified to be able to participate in the process. So this hearing is required under the rules, and it gives the public an opportunity, it needs to be open to the public, and gives the public an opportunity to either question the project or question why the borough would be moving in this direction instead of having a completely open bid. This is actually a little cumbersome because it does require a two-step process instead of just opening bid. And the main reason for this is because it's a grant-funded project through the New Jersey Historic Trust. The New Jersey Historic Trust requires a pre-qualification process. So if we're going to accept their money, you also have to accept the process to get there for the bidding. So that's what this is about.
All right. So I guess the procedure is open to the public for questions?
For any comments. Yep.
All right. I will open public comment.
Do we need a motion?
Go ahead.
You want to move it? Okay.
Council members Granville Brady.
Yes.
Tom Mitchell.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Teresa Bonner.
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Public hearing. Questions, open? Hearing none. Motion to close, Tom?
So moved.
Second.
Council members Granville Brady.
Yes.
Tom Mitchell.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Teresa Bonner.
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Kevin, do we have a tentative timeline? Because there will be some disruption to the use of that front door.
Correct. So once this project is completed, we send it to the state of New Jersey. They'll approve the process that we're going to use. So what will happen is vendors will now apply to be considered to be able to bid on this project. So that's the first step. That'll happen this fall, towards the end, actually almost winter now, right, to the winter. And then we will hopefully be able to then put out a bid to those 3 or 4 qualified individuals and accept the bid probably, I'm saying maybe January or February. There is work that can take place in the winter, but it is exterior work, masonry work. So it's anticipated in the spring that we may have a closure of the front of the municipal building and have a ramp put up on the side of the front steps so that you can access the building or utilize the library. We've met with them as well. That portion should only take a couple weeks where it would impact a direct closure in the front. Other than that, you'll see scaffolding and other work being done on the other side of the building. So there'll be some disruption, but services will be fully maintained. There'll be actually no physical closure to the inside the building. It just may be rerouted or navigated in a different way. So we expect, to have this project under full construction, hopefully in late spring of next year.
And we're well within the timeline for the state to maintain the grant.
Correct.
Because there's generally with an award, you have a time at which you have to award the contract.
And this is combining 2 grants. This is New Jersey Historic Preservation and the Somerset County Historic Preservation as well. There's 2 different grants that are being combined in this project.
All right. All right. We have committee reports. I'll start to my left with Mr. Mitchell.
Okay, we just finished discussing the historic preservation of Borough Hall. We had the weekend journey into the past, weekend before last, and it was a very successful program. A little lighter turnout than we would have hoped for due to some bad weather. It was kind of rainy on Saturday. But the Fire Museum wheeled out the hand pumper and let members of the community see what it was like to pump the water to put out a fire in the 1880s. And I think it was a very successful program. That's, I think, all I have.
Thank you. Mrs. Stravic.
Regarding my leadership to the Personnel Committee, there are jobs open in Borough Hall, so you can check out the website on that. Regarding the Environmental Commission role liaison, I can report that they had a meeting the second Tuesday of the month. They fully discussed one of the ordinances that is on the agenda and the testing needed that they feel is needed for the playground at Parkview. They also talked about the need to educate the public on composting leaves and your grass clippings to reduce impact in our landfills. And they've been working hard on tree ordinances and the October 21st tree planting that is scheduled for Saturday with a grant that was received by the committee to plant 35 trees at Walk Park. So they're busy as always, and also winding up the gardening season at the community garden. There's a little potluck going on there upcoming, and some nice mural art now on the fence at the gardens, which they got a donation for. So all good work done by the Environmental Commission. Follow them on Facebook and their website page.
Do you know the timing on the tree planting at Wall Park?
8 a.m.
8 o'clock. Okay. Great. Thank you. Mr. Vroom.
This past Saturday was inspection day for our fire department, which is a borough ordinance. On that day, the members of the fire department gather, as well as the members of the borough council, to go through and inspect all of the apparatus as well as the fire department buildings. It capped off Fire Prevention Week, which was an amazing experience. It's on, yeah. Which was an amazing experience for obviously all the firefighters in town that were able to make it. What Fire Prevention Week means for the members of the fire department here, run by Bobby Lynn and Ashley Bowden. They push into the schools. They have events, go in and talk about fire safety in the home and how to have a plan, which every single one of us should have in our homes, where to meet up in the event of a fire. Talking about stop, drop, and roll is still something that, you know, we want to remember in the event of a fire, or we have the unfortunate experience of catching on fire, which hopefully never happens to anybody. But stop, drop, and roll, we go through with all the kids and get them to get on the ground and roll back and forth and not stop until someone tells you to stop. And it's fun to go through those programs. I had the opportunity to visit with the students of Good Shepherd, and we went through that with all of those, with the kids. The fire prevention went to Vanderveer School and worked with those students. And then we had the fire drills planned in all of the schools within the borough. So we got to go from Vanderveer to ICS to Immaculata to the Somerville High School. And it's a great experience. What happens there is that the fire department volunteers come and they walk throughout the building, and sometimes they'll hold a class, sometimes they'll hold students. And the reason they do that is so that in the event of a true emergency, if someone gets lost or someone's misplaced, the administration from those buildings have the opportunity then to practice finding those students. You can never plan, you can plan and prepare for an emergency, but you can't plan and prepare for every eventuality. So the members of the fire department take it very seriously. And it was a long day, but it was a fun day to see so many volunteers out there and working again with our students, and having that experience. And all of the participants, save two of our members, are volunteers. The members of the fire department is a fully volunteer organization, and they give up their time during the day, take off work to participate in events like this, because they know how much it means to the borough and having that impact with the students and hopefully on their families as well. So it was a great event this weekend. It was a great events throughout the week, again with the fire department pushing into the schools and working again with our community partners. The rescue squad also participated on inspection day, so it was nice to see the squad building, who will also be moving once we open up the new doors of our emergency services building. So hopefully next year, we won't have too many places to stop at during inspection day. It'll be one location, and we'll go from there. But it was a great event, and unfortunately we didn't have the parade this year, but hopefully next year we'll have brighter skies and be able to bring the parade and have the apparatus and all of the volunteers be celebrated as they march through the streets here in Somerville. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Brady?
Thank you, Your Honor. The last meeting I announced that we had the sale of the sewers pending. That's what I couldn't figure out.
Is that on?
Are we on? I
Yeah,
think
go
good.
ahead.
I'm pleased to report the sale took place, but more importantly, the $7 million that was going to be paid for us was paid to us. Now, I asked for the funds to be sent to us in gold bars, but unfortunately, they ran out, so it was a cyber transfer. And despite of what you may read in, or hear about, or read in literature, the borough is no longer responsible for maintaining the sanitary sewers. So that is a huge problem lifted from us. So the next time you open your valves or flush the toilet, just remember, it's somebody else's problem. And that's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mrs. Bonner?
Well, I hope you'll forgive me. I have quite a lengthy report from the Recreation Department because there's a lot going on in the fall. The Recreation Department is currently accepting registrations for the following programs for the fall. Preseason free wrestling clinic. It started this past Saturday, October 14th, and will run through November 11th for grades K through 8. You can still sign up. You know, you don't have to do the whole thing. They are putting on a Spookyville house decorating contest. The Somerville Recreation Committee is looking for residents to decorate their homes in a festive fall or spooky way. Registration is free and must be received by October 25th. Judging will take place on Sunday, October 29th from 6 to 8 p.m., and the winners will be announced on Halloween. The winners will be receiving gift cards from local businesses, so we hope that a lot of people participate, and please register at Community Pass. The Somerville 5K Turkey Trot is happening on November 23rd at 9 a.m. It's a family-friendly event. Walkers are welcome. Please register at somervilleturkeytrot.com. The winter programs that will be coming up, the RIB Basketball League, grades 3 through 8. The deadline is November 5th. The cost is $70. The DST Beginner Basketball Clinic, which will be Friday nights, January through February, for grades 1 and 2. The deadline to register is December 20th. The cost will be $90. Youth Wrestling, grades K through 6. The deadline to register is November 10th. The cost will be $70. The Somerville Spooktacular will be held on Tuesday, October 31st, Halloween, from 3 to 6 p.m. Along Main Street, Division Street, and the courthouse lawn. The Recreation Department will be having a pumpkin patch on the courthouse lawn. There'll be 250 pumpkins. The kids can choose a pumpkin and then decorate it. So it will be first come, first serve, because there's going to be a lot of kids downtown, so they will go quickly. The Recreation Department asks you to please follow them on social media to stay up to date with the latest information, and register for all the programs in person, or register at communitypass.net/Somerville. I also have a short report from Department of Public Works. DPW will be working with the Environmental Commission, the Arbor Day Foundation, and MetLife on planting trees at Walk Park on October 21st. That was mentioned earlier. Phase 1 of the paving for the PSE&G project is just about complete. They are resurfacing streets curb to curb. All corners having a handicap access ramp will be will have striped crossing lanes across the roadway. That will be helpful to handicap members of our community. Curbside leaf pickup starts Monday, October 30th. And finally, I have something from the Youth Services Commission. Somerset County Office of Youth Services will be offering a virtual community connections workshop on October 27th from 10 to 12 p.m. The workshop is called Effective Bystander Intervention. The interactive virtual training explores the factors that influence bystander intervention and strategies for intervening effectively in response to bias and discrimination. Participants can earn the 2 continued education credits, and to register, go to njoag.zoomgov.com. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. President.
Yes. Thank you, Your Honor. I'd just like to send out a quick congratulations to the Downtown Somerville Alliance and Somerville's own 3 Summers Creative. They are the 2023 Muse Creative Award Silver winner for creative website redesign. Please take a look at the award-winning redesigned website, and the new address for that website is downtownsomerville.org. Thank you.
Thank you. Just one item, backing up what Councilwoman Bonner said. Leaf pickup will be starting next month, which means brush pickup will end by the end of this month. Already I see leaves being raked into the street. Folks, please try, and I know the wind blows them, but please try when you rake your leaves, keep them on the grass median if you have one. If you bag them, you can call the Department of Public Works. They will come and pick up the leaves. We really want to make a conscious effort to keep those leaves out of the gutter because they wind up in the storm drains, and that's something we want to avoid. So we're glad to get them, you can bag them, and we'll pick them up with our manpower. Once the vac trucks are out, get them to the curb. If you can try to keep them out of the gutter, it would help us, it would help our drainage issues, and we just need you all to pull together on that. Just in general, there'll be a lot of activities coming up. We mentioned some heritage programs. Santa's not that far away. The fire department parade of lights is coming up early December as well. There's going to be plenty of activities. Check our website and other media outlets. We want to see you all out. It's been raining just about every weekend recently. We're going to try to get that rain out of the way so that our weekend events can go along as planned. It's going to be a lot happening here. I look forward to seeing each of you out and about as we begin to turn from the fall into the pure holiday season in the months ahead. All right, we have one ordinance for introduction only. It's in ordinance 2720-23-1016, an ordinance amending ordinance 2702, providing funding for various capital purposes for the Borough of Somerville and appropriating $1,668,800 for such purpose. I need a motion for introduction only.
So move.
Second?
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Kevin, will we have that on for the first meeting in November?
Yeah, I think we're fine with
Because
that.
we have a 3-week lag between the way the calendar falls. Okay. All right, with the open public meeting section, I'll call for a motion in a second. We'd ask you to come to the microphone in front, name and address for the record, address your questions or comments to myself. Have a motion to open
So
public.
moved.
Second.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
All right, I'll start on this side and work my way around so that everyone has an opportunity to be recognized. Anyone on this side? Yes, sir. Of course. You may sit or stand, whatever is more comfortable for you.
Mayor, I have the camera that's actually on the presenter there. If you're going to have everybody sit, I'll just change, but I didn't know.
Oh, yeah, let's have him sit.
Your Honor, Counsel, I have a petition that is being, for the.
Name and address, please.
Oh, excuse me.
That's
It's
okay.
my first time. My name is David.
That's okay.
It's Chang, C-H-A-N-G. 31 South Davenport Street. And this is my first time. Before I address Mayor, Council, would you like a copy of the petition?
You can give it to my clerk.
There's 2 copies. My apologies. I did read the instructions very in-depth, so kind of.
We're informal here just because we have a formal facility now.
Will do. I became a resident of Somerville in July 2022, and since then I've seen a tremendous change in the community. Completion of the Avalon and Pulte Homes, train underpass construction, Station Road to Route 206, and this Somerville Civic Center and town's new offices. Alongside this growth, I have witnessed increased traffic on Robeson Street, Station Road, South Davenport Street, and Cernadori Road. Most traffic is from the residents of this area circulating our blocks looking for parking. This is not absent of the Avalon residents, Soma residents, and daily train commuters looking for parking. If the mayor and the council are not aware, other than the homeowners, residents, and guests of the Avalon, Soma, and commuters are in search of free parking every day, every morning, and every night. Do you know how many apartments are in the Avalon, can house in the Avalon? It's 371 apartments. Do you know how many apartments are, that can house the Soma? How many residents can be in the Soma? 69. Do you know how many homes, Pulte Home residents are down the street? 156. Now I'm gonna ask the mayor and the council to recognize that there are only 83 parking spots on the streets down this way. Mayor and council, there is a problem, there's a parking problem in this community. The problem is looking for free parking, creating unsafe conditions for my family, my neighbors, and my pets.
Mr. Chang, is your microphone on?
Just press the button.
Oh,
There you
Thank
go.
My apologies.
No.
I was trying to speak out loud,
You
so.
did it, you were doing great. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're fine, I was
Okay.
getting a text.
With the opening of the bike trail, Station Road into Route 206, we will only see increased traffic. In addition, as the town office makes the transition from Somerville Library to 24 Robeson Street, where will the town staff park? I am requesting the mayor and council show their support for their new neighbors by voicing and voting your support today to a safer community as you support the other streets on North Bridge Street residents. I propose on October 16, 2023, a vote on zoning the streets highlighted in yellow on the plot map attached and document titled Petition for Residential Permit Parking Only under Somerville, New Jersey Municipal Code, Chapter 166, under Vehicles and Traffic, Article 2, Parking, Section 166-10-1, Permit Parking. I will yield the remaining part of my time for this council and the mayor to vote.
Well, first of all, thank you for your comments, bringing that to our attention. We cannot take a vote on a motion from the floor. That's just not part of the protocol. It's my understanding that when the planning board approved the various projects, and Dr. Brady, Mr. Broom, you've been on the planning board recently, parking requirements for those projects were all met on site. And I know that at our last meeting, we approved an additional surface lot to the west, I believe, of the current project. It's a short-term lot, because eventually there's going to be an additional parking deck as part of the last phase. I'm at a loss to understand why there's not adequate parking, because it's a calculation based, I believe, on bedroom size that goes into the deck and the surface parking and the street parking that's there. I would ask you to go back to your management and find out what provisions they've made for parking, because it's my understanding that those developments are to contain their own parking on site.
That is correct, Your Honor, and in the provisions, those streets are public, and they are run by this council, and that's why I'm asking for permitted parking only.
So it's not public.
Last I checked,
What street exactly are you talking about? Because we
I'm
don't
talking-
have the,
I apologize.
that's okay.
I have the plot map in front of me. I'm speaking of all the streets down this way. According to this plot map, highlighted in yellow, these are all considered public streets. And that is on title for the land as well. They are not maintained by any management company. They are not maintained by the Avalon. They are not maintained by Pulte Homes. They are maintained by the township. So I am asking this council to take into consideration the same permit only passes that you provide your North Bridge Street residents the same privilege. I don't think it's asking for too much for safer streets.
Well, I can't speak for the council, but I'm not prepared to entertain a motion to vote tonight. We would need to research this, talk to our police department, and talk to management there and find out exactly what the status is. In your opinion, sir, if I can ask you, where are these additional cars coming from? Are they residents? Are they visitors? Are they commuters?
I have filed multiple complaints with the local police department on parties that are being conducted, whether it be inside the Avalon or in the residence down the street. They are not honoring the quiet time hours. There are people that are commuting and not taking the New Jersey Transit garage of 262 spaces into full effect because it costs them money. I have seen numerous residents, whether it be here or in New Jersey, ask me, am I allowed to park on the street, yes or no? At 10 p.m. this evening, if we're still here, you can please take a walk down the street. You will see the people come from the 10 o'clock train and the 11 o'clock train, and they will get into their cars and they will drive away. And then magically 10 new spaces will open up. I know this because I've been in this community for roughly about 16 months, and I do love my dog. I walk him 3 times a day, no matter, sun, rain, snow, tornado, he will go outside.
So, Mayor, I think the public streets, to my knowledge, they're not dedicated over yet. So those aren't actually public streets. Mr. Chang made some points, which we've actually heard, that there are some commuters that are avoiding to pay the parking, so therefore, they're parking on the street. So that's an issue, but the streets that we're speaking about are not public streets at this point. So if you were going to entertain a parking permit program similar to we've had in other areas at destination locations, that would have to be, obviously, when those streets are public. But, some of the comments that I heard from Mr. Chang are consistent with some of the other residents that have brought this to our attention. And I don't know, Mr. Chang might have even been in my office recently, because people have come in and asked for parking permits from this development. So, but again, it has to be, we only have the authority in the streets that are dedicated.
What's
Do you know if they are being patrolled or enforced at this point, or it's just kind of a no man's land over there?
From
From the police department, in other words,
No,
if they're
no,
not,
they're-
we have not taken
we don't have
control.
jurisdiction.
And Davenport by ShopRite, we've not taken control of that street either. So, I mean, there's no prohibition of parking. So that essentially is not being governed by any entity whatsoever at this point.
Well, it could be governed by the developer, because it's still a private roadway.
Do we have a
But, I mean,
timeframe?
We don't have that.
Kevin, do we have a time frame on when those roads will be deeded over to us?
There is, but there's
Because we've got
certain
snow
operational
plowing, we've got
concerns that
snow
we have.
plowing coming up soon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that
and
right now will be
we've
the
actually,
responsibility.
yeah, we've actually discussed that as part of our snow plowing plan, but there's other operational considerations that the borough has to make before we take over a street. Those, we're just not there yet.
Mr. Chang, have you discussed this with Pulteney Homes,
Yes,
and what was their response here?
it is public roads.
So I guess we need to straighten that out.
Yeah.
No, that's,
I
Mr.
have-
Solomon, could you
Well,
investigate
you
that?
would be adopting those roads by ordinance, and I don't recall an ordinance that dedicated those roads. I could be wrong, but I mean, to my recollection, you have not accepted those roads.
Mr. Driver, I will recognize you even though we're in public.
I just want to clarify a couple of things, Mr. Chang. Kevin is correct. The streets have not been dedicated to the borough because there's certain elements that need to be completed. Pulte Homes are incorrect. They are not public streets. Just get that real clear right now. We're hoping that maybe by the end of the year, we'll be able to take them over. Kevin and I have been discussing this. I discussed at least a couple of times a month the parking on Robeson and some of the other streets to both Avalon Bay and to Pulte, but it seems to be, I think, more often than not, commuters. And even those entities do not have any control over people not wanting to pay parking. And when we take over the parking, please, let me finish. We will then have restricted timing and we'll be able to issue summonses, et cetera. And hopefully we can get it done by the end of the year. We're working hard to do so.
So do we envision having a permit system or just signage?
There is adequate parking if you do the math. In the deck is only, according to the numbers and the permits that they issue, less than 50% occupied, and that's because people don't want to pay the parking fees. But transit controls 50% of that deck, and they're charging whatever is $5 a day, and people don't want to pay it.
So if and when we do take over the streets, there's some flexibility.
We'll put parking controls on it. 1 hour parking or whatever it is the council determines it should they can be then policed and ticketed, and it will move certain people along. I think we've got to look at what's happening on Veterans Memorial Drive with commuter parking too.
So we can at some point control the commuter parking there.
Once the roads are owned by the Borough Council can then take action to levy fines, change whatever the parking rate is, etc., as we've always done.
So I guess, Mr. Chang, what we're asking is a little more patience, and I know you've been patient since you moved in, but right now, and I rely on my consultant to give me the correct information, the streets are not public as yet.
Okay, so, Your Honor, if I could address one other note then. All the parking tickets that have been issued by the police department up to this day are considered to be invalid because these are not public streets?
I can't answer that. I'm not a police officer.
I don't understand how, if it's not deemed
A court
public.
would make that determination, any mayor. That wouldn't be your body. A court would make that determination whether the ticket's valid or not.
Well, Mayor and Council, I just wanted to address that that the maps are on your website and the zoning is not completed. And before the zoning is completed, I am requesting that this area be deemed residential and permit parking only. It is the reason why I addressed the court today. It's also the reason why there is a petition being filed and being signed by 156 homeowners at this point. So I ask, when would the mayor and the council be able to address whether or not these streets are public? Because from my understanding, all it would take is a master title from your development in conjunction with Pulte Homes, Avalon Bay, and New Jersey Transit to find out where the easements and the title have landed as soon as the project has been completed, from which, what I can understand, 206 has to have lights on there, and the builder will be reissued their bonds, they will exit the property, and then this is when this borough would take possession of those streets. So when would I be able, or the homeowners down the street, be able to understand the timeline of when this will be addressed by the mayor and the council?
I cannot give you a specific date at this point. I rely on my economic developer to liaison with the developers and make that process happen, because we will eventually need an ordinance to accept those streets.
Mr. Chang, I think you bring up really good points, and I think if you give the Borough Council a little time to investigate, get confirmation, figure out a plan with our team of professionals and lay people, I think we can help you out, but I don't think we can do it tonight.
Okay.
I know we can't.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that my neighbors understood whether or not the mayor and the council are fully aware of the situation that's outside, that's endangering our families, that's endangering the additional traffic. And once 206 opens up, I can't even imagine whether you would live in a home that has the amount of traffic that we have now, with going home and not finding parking for blocks on end, especially when it's been raining like the way it has. With that being said, I do have one other item that I would like to address.
Go ahead, if you can do it quickly.
If you have, yes, it will be done quickly, and I'll pass along my letter as well. If you haven't checked, would you please check your shoes tonight, because there is as many people as many dogs in this neighborhood. And I'm not saying who is responsible, but they're not cleaning up after themselves. I'm asking the council and the mayor to start posting signs about the civil penalty for not cleaning up after your pet.
That should be an easy fix. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Anyone else on my right? Yes.
Good evening. Jennifer Lochran, 716 Falcon Court, Bridgewater, New Jersey. I started BR skateboarding with some sketchy homemade ramps, a minivan, the support of Bridgewater Recreation, and the incredible involvement of many people. Ollie May and her dad built our first quarter pipe in their garage during the pandemic. Original Zach, he's back there, he rolled up at a Raritan street fair and asked if he could rock that quarter pipe, and he did. He used his VOTEC skills to build the rest of our ramps and has been a mentor for so many kids. Cooper has visited every concrete ditch in his townhouse community. He is now our team manager and loves to make rules. New Zach, who's also back there, he wanted a skate park in his neighborhood, but that did not work out. But when the mayor of Manville asked us to bring skateboarding to his town, he did help make that happen. DJ Jaden pumped killer tunes as we skated on Thompson Avenue at Boundbrook Community Day. He also holds little kids' hands when they roll down their first ramp. John and Nick do too, and they always have the best attitude, even when dragging ramps across on a broken cart across a chunky parking lot to tennis courts. Steele, who joined us today, I'm pretty sure we will all be working for her one day. And then Jordan Gesco, he is a really talented skateboarder. His work recently is a concrete art form that we all so genuinely are grateful for and are proud of. What makes Andan Skate Park unique is that it was imagined and built by skateboarders from this region. And it's changed a lot over time, but it was never given up on. And now people travel from all over the East Coast to skate there. Somerville has transformed from a gritty place with a long-standing history of street culture to one of the best towns to live in and visit. At a fraction of that effort, you could change the way people share parks and public spaces and reimagine the whole concept of a skate park or a bike path or a play area. You could revolutionize public art, much like the sensory experience of Charmfield. And in the process, Somerville could be a place where wheeled forms of green transportation are encouraged rather than banished. It would change lives for generations. There's a lot I could say about skateboarding and what it means to kids and how we got this all started. But at the end of the day, skateboarding is fun. So with that spirit, I leave you with this quote of inspiration from Thomas R. Callahan II. Why say no when it feels so good to say yes? I'd also like to acknowledge Borough Administrator Kevin Sluka and Recreation Director Kathy Gerndt, who met with a core group of us, and thank the Town Council for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else to my right? Yes, sir. Oh, young lady, come on up.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Steele Herrera, and I am a third grader in Vanderveer Elementary School, and I live at 114 West Cliff Street, New Jersey. I love to skate. I want to build a skate park here in Somerville so that local skateboarders don't have to go all the way to Anvan Skate Park or an even farther skate park. It's really hard to get to Anvan without a car, and I am too young to drive. We are not allowed to skate on Division Street, and I do not have a driveway. Please build a skate park in Somerville so my friends and I can skate.
Thank you. Another example of Vanderveer School. It's the best school in the world. Well spoken, young lady. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Council. My name is Alex Alb, and I am from 14 Drysdale Lane in Bridgewater. I'm a small business owner and chief operator of Gabriel's Fountain Kitchen and Creamery in Bridgewater, and I'm also a skateboarder. And I'm here to advocate the Somerset County Skateboard Project here in Somerville, hopefully. At 42 years old, I tell myself the lie that skateboarding keeps me young. But my knees and my back tell a different story the next day. But one of my greatest privileges is just being a father to a 16-year-old boy back here in the crowd, Afton, and he also skateboards. I get to relive my youth vicariously through him by watching him skate now. And I proudly say, he's pretty dang good. Joe, he's doing backside 180 nose grinds down a hubba. Joe and I used to skate through Somerville and Raritan when we were in the 90s in high school. When the pandemic started, my wife and I, we deeply worried for Afton. He just turned 13, and he the activity he dedicated his life to was taken away. Depression and anxiety set in, as it did for many teenagers, but the levels were just immeasurable at that point. When the outdoor parks started to open up back again, Afton got back on that skateboard, and it was to Anvin in Hillsborough that we traveled 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back. And what my wife and I observed was a young boy who struggled with anxiety and depression during lockdown. Now his mind was reawakened. You see, I teach my three kids this one lesson. Motion equals emotion. Motion equals emotion because the more that you stay in motion, the more your emotion stays in balance. And by the way, my youngest daughter, she loves ballet. My middle child, he's a starter on the Bridgewater Middle School basketball team. And for my two youngest kids, it's easy to sign them up for programmed activities. But for Afton, it was a little bit harder because he just doesn't get attached to programmed sports. Now, rather than saying Afton is like the odd one out, he met at the skate park a lot of odd ones out. And though he's in the minority, we are all discovering that his minority isn't a small tribe at all. You see, skateboarding isn't just an activity. It's a subculture. It's a diverse community that thrives on inclusivity and creativity. And a county skate park centralized in this town would be more than just a place to ride a piece of wood with wheels. It would be a communal hub for young and old alike to come together and to learn from one another the lessons in life and to grow as individuals and as well as a community. I'm here to advocate the skate park. If my daughter Ophelia's school needed a new playground, I would advocate for that. If my son Jude needed more options to play basketball, I would advocate for that. Now, this young girl Steele over here, I'm advocating for her because she needs her playground as well. The truth is there are so many people like Afton in and around Bridgewater, Branchburg, Raritan, Somerville, adjacent to us here, who are primed in their personalities for skateboarding and the subculture. Therefore, I advocate for all of them as well. Skateboarding has been a wonderful teacher to me as an entrepreneur. In fact, I tell Afton all the time, skateboarding is a lot like life. There's so many failed attempts as compared to the successful makes. So you keep on trying, and you need to fall in love with the journey of failing over and over and over and over and over again. And be willing to brush the dust off your jeans, pick up your board, and pick up your head and your heart, and try again. Now, I know the skate park project, according to Kevin, may be 5 to 10 years away. We realize that. But support for this project today and right now will be the equivalent of planting a tree, even though we may never sit in its shade. In closing, I urge you to consider the immense positive impact that a skate park can have on this community. It's not just about skateboarding, but it's about fostering a sense of belonging, providing a space for our youth, and encouraging physical and mental well-being. So please, support the Somerville Skate Park project. Please make this a community better for all. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Well, we'll move to my left. Yes, sir.
I'll use this mic.
Well, let's let Kevin switch the camera then.
Okay. Jeff Kaiser, 23 Vanderveer Avenue, Somerville. I am, this is great, by the way. This is a great spot. Glad we're going to be able to come here now. I'm here to speak on behalf of the Somerville Environmental Commission. We were asked by the council to provide a report and a review of the environmental firm's, engineering firm, Geosyntec, their report on the property that Parkview is going to be building a playground. And so I just wanted to read to you our review of that you had asked us to conduct. The Environmental Commission has reviewed the Geosyntec PA preliminary assessment you provided regarding the Parkview Playground property. This property is a summary report of the developer's environmental study based on old data and old environmental standards. We've identified several areas of concern we strongly urge you to investigate further. For one, the Geosyntec PA does not clearly state that the Parkview Playground property is contamination-free. Instead, it indicates that further investigation should be conducted to determine if vapor intrusion is of concern. Number two, the report does not address nor make note of the known pile of contaminated soil which existed on the Parkview Playground property for at least 1 year. This is a particular concern since the developer's environmental study does not present any soil testing of the Parkview Playground site. And number three, that the Mike Coles report from July 10th report also indicated a similar conclusion. In conclusion, the Environmental Commission believes that the two reports have indicated that further action should be taken before ground should be broken, and it is our position that the soil on the Parkview property be tested for contamination, so no construction be started until the property is formally deemed clean and safe by Geosyntec. This is a place where our toddlers and young children of Somerville will be playing and enjoying themselves. Were we not to have the site certified to be contamination-free, it is likely that the borough's insurance would not provide coverage for injuries, creating a large potential liability for the borough. It is a duty of the Environmental Commission and all of our governing bodies that we protect the health and safety of our citizens, especially our most vulnerable. Please reach out to us for any questions. And I'd just like to say as well, I really appreciate you guys coming to Environmental Commission. We all do. We love working with you guys, and together we can do great things. So thank you for considering our opinion and our thoughts. So thank you.
Thank you and the committee. Anyone else to my left? Mr. Cleveland.
I also would like to address, my name is Larry Cleveland. I live at 34 Grant Avenue here in Somerville. I'm a member of the Environmental Commission, and I'm the liaison officer to the Planning Board. And this report that Jeff just read, we took it seriously. My understanding is they were hounding us for a report for 2 weeks. We just got one half of a report. We hadn't had a meeting, but there's phone calls to all kind of people. Where's the report? Where's the report? Where's the report? You guys had the report since last week. Is there any comment from anybody about what's going to happen? Are we going to actually test the soil? That's the most important thing, because we should err on the side of caution when it comes to children. My children, my grandchildren, your grandchildren, your grandchildren, your kids, your kids, your kids, your kids, all of our kids. If there's any kind of thought that there might be a problem in the ground, we should be checking it. We should be jumping at the chance to check it. This is part of the law that says that you have to have it tested before the town can accept it. I don't understand what the delay is. I can't understand it. You say the words vapor intrusion and children. I don't really know what vapor intrusion is, but I can assure you it doesn't go with children. We should be checking it. The GeoSync report says, it's an area of concern. Well, if it is, let's get it tested. Let's do this. Why are we dragging our feet? Why do we have to come here and go through this rigmarole when it should be automatic, test it just to be sure, and then we can go ahead and put a park on it? It's simple. Silence is golden to me. I don't hear anybody refuting anything, and nobody's saying, oh, we're going to look into it, or anything like that. That's shameful. We should be looking at this a lot harder than we are now. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else to my left? Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Good evening. I am Cooper Rago and I live at 104 Brokaw Court in Bridgewater. Since 2020, I've been skateboarding with Jen. From when I started to now, skateboarding has been nothing but fun and interesting. Skateboarding has taught me to have bravery and good balance. One thing I would like to bring up is that the wear and tear on our equipment is bad due to the road and rain. Whenever it rains, we have to stop skating, but our ramps still get damaged. If we built a skate park, we wouldn't have these problems. More importantly, it would be a lot of fun hanging out with my friends whenever we wanted to. When me and Jen used to meet up in my neighborhood, we used to always go on hunts to find water runoff platforms. I would love to see something like that in a skate park. When we go to a skate park, I would love to help build it. I am always wanting to help with everything, and I love thinking a lot of other kids would want to do that too. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for your words. All right, hearing no more, I'll take a motion to close public.
So move.
Second? You go.
I will make an exception, just,
Hello, my name is Jordan Gesko. I live at 444 Garrettson Road in Bridgewater, New Jersey. I came tonight to support the idea of a skate park, and I believe we should have access to one locally so kids don't have to travel so far. And I believe that there's just a need for it. Like, as a kid, I grew up skating Somerville Skate Park, and I was a member along with my brother and cousin, and it was a family thing. We did it as a family, and it was a great time. I met a lot of my friends in Somerville, and I'm still friends with them today. I'm 32 years old, and I was lucky enough to be able to skate and travel the whole country and get to meet a lot of people and get to experience the community. I was able to help build Van, which it was slow over the years, and recently this year they were able to invest some more money into the park, and we did some additions there. And yeah, I'm like at this point in my life, like I'm not doing it for myself anymore. I'm doing it for the next generation, and I really want to see more parks. So that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm supporting the idea of a park. And yeah, thank you.
thank you for your comments. All right, I'll take one last comment from the young lady in the back.
Since you opened it back up. My name is Carrie Herrera, and I live at 114 West Cliff Street, and I am also here to voice support for the skate park. I live here in Somerville, and I think that it would be an amazing destination, not only for our Somerville youth, but also the surrounding communities. So I just wanted to put that out there, that as a Somerville resident, I would really, really love that in our neighborhood. So if we could make that happen, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Now I'll entertain a motion to close.
So move.
Second.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes?
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Kevin, I'm curious, are there standards, either at federal or state level, on size of a skate park, the amount of land needed, the prospective cost? Because before we would even start any thought, I'd like to see what physical constraints and what financial, considerations there would be. Because if it's a county facility, it could be located in a centralized area to service, a larger area. I wouldn't venture to, I know the site we had is probably substandard just in terms of area. So if there's any way that we could find out, at a minimum, what we would need, because we're only 2 square miles, and I mean, I'd like to, at least know what we would need before we would even consider going, to the next step.
So we had a meeting on Tuesday with the team of skateboarders and the advocates for the group. The meeting was very good. We talked about some interesting ideas, whether it be a smaller or fragmented, other opportunities that may exist that are a little more innovative. And I think the folks that are on that team are far more qualified than I am as a 6'4" guy to tell you how good skateboarding is. I'm not a skateboarder, but I think I think the team was certainly looking for an opportunity to see opportunity in Somerville to see what it is, and they are going to put together a proposal for me or for the council to consider, looking at potentially some apparatus as a start, rails and things of that nature in existing park areas to see if that would be a start of something as we continue to investigate other opportunities, whether it be in a park or outside a park. So, so we'll get that information with the next couple weeks from the team, and then we'll be able to share it with recreation and to see if we can see what type of traction there is for that. As far as cost, one of the team members is a builder of skate parks, far more skilled than I would be putting together that, and that should be really included kind of in the future conversation and conceptualization. Just this morning, the DEP has 2 more days left asking for uses of recreation space and outdoor space, and what they do is every year they gain public input for what people want, and then in the future they make funding opportunities available for that as well, for the state plan. So it's going to take a little bit to formalize some of the questions, some of the answers to those questions you have, Mayor, but they're all good questions that we'll get to.
I'd like to also involve at some point in Somerville County Park Commission, because they have huge tracts of existing parkland. People are already going there. This could be an alternate use. For instance, Colonial Park has golf, has miniature golf, has the paddle boats, has swings, has a picnic area. It's, and they have extensive fields. So without knowing what we need, I mean, I've never skated, and I know I can't now, but I know the kids do, and it's fun. And it's worth exploring just to see what we would need as a first step. If we need acres and acres and acres, we're going to be constrained.
Sure.
But I like the concept of perhaps ancillary equipment as part of an existing playground. Kids are going there anyway. Your older brother's shooting hoops. You want a skateboard. Other kids want to kick a soccer ball around. It just makes sense. So let's keep a dialogue with the group. I thank you for coming out and being so eloquent and bringing our future leaders. I see some of them sitting at a dais like this someday as well. So if they're one of your kids' parents, you're doing a great job. So thank you very much. All right.
Can we also look at the issue of liability and insurance? I'm concerned that, I'm not a skater myself, but I've seen it done, and it looks scary.
For you and I, maybe, Tom, but not for these kids.
Dangerous is pickleball.
No.
There's some pickleball injuries going on.
It's like any other, Tom, it would be like any other athletic event at the high school or at a college level. There's liability, but that shouldn't be the primary discussion. It should be, can we build something that's not just shoehorned in somewhere that's not going to get much use. So let's take small steps, but positive steps, working together. Again, I thank you, the group, for coming. All right, we're at our consent resolution part. Council, are there any consent resolutions that you'd like to pull for individual discussion?
316.
316, anyone else?
311.
Okay, I'll summarize the rest. 312, adopting the pre-qualification regulations for the Somerville Borough Priority Entry Portico and Exterior Restoration Project, that we discussed that at the beginning of this meeting. 313 is a resolution supporting an application for an HD SRF grant in the amount of $2,074,230 for the remediation of portion of the landfill brownfield redevelopment area located on Route 206 north in the Borough of Somerville. 314 is approving the fire department's lights parade on December 2nd, 2023 at 5:30 till 10 p.m. at 170 East Main Street. And 315, approving a change order number 1, amending contract with Capital Paving and Contracting for the 2021 CDBG curb ramp, reducing the contract by $11,894.48 from an original amount of $107,294 to a final total of $95,399.52. Can I have a motion on those as a group?
So moved.
Second?
Council members Granville Brady.
Yes.
Tom Mitchell.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Teresa Bonner.
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
All right, Resolution 311 is approving a place-to-place transfer of license, Somerville Hospitality LLC from In Pocket to be used at 50 West Main Street, Somerville, New Jersey. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Kevin, I assume this is a plenary liquor license or a distribution? Consumption.
It's consumption.
Consumption license?
All right.
Where is this license coming from? In pocket, in whose pocket?
In the owner's pocket.
It wasn't cited anywhere, someone had purchased it but it hadn't located or been used in any establishment for a little while. It's referred to as in pocket.
Yeah, but I'm wondering who purchased it.
So it was owned by, it was previously owned, Kavanaugh Industries Properties, LLC. They had purchased it some time ago. It's remained in pocket. They had a change of corporate ownership last week. They've added Stevens Enterprises to that corporate license, and that license will be used at 50 West Main Street, which it's intended right now, and again, they haven't come in for application, so I'm only telling you what I know, is it'll be used at like a jazz club.
It's my understanding that 50 West Main Street was the old TD Bank, is that correct?
You are correct.
And that's being converted into a jazz club?
It'll be a facility that serves alcohol. My understanding, it'll be a jazz facility, but again, the applications haven't, that portion of the applications. I only know this because one of the, first of all, they're within the special improvement district, and also one of the principals of that license is actively engaged in the municipality, so it was mentioned to me, and I don't know if, you know, I don't have, there's no other factual information I can give you but what I gave you.
Okay.
Our jurisdiction is just allowing the transfer of the license. We're not, the ownership, the operation, the potential use is not germane to our discussion.
Who we were talking about.
Yeah. I had spoken with the owner, about 2 years ago, and he was looking at an entertainment venue of some type, but without a liquor license. Most businesses can't survive.
One of the new principals also owns another business in the municipality. It has worked out very well, so.
So all this
we're
does is,
hoping for good things.
all this does is allow the license to be transferred, then the application will go to the planning board once it's deemed complete. If it's a compatible use, it'll go to the planning board. If it needs a variance, it'll go to the zoning board, and it'll go through the land use procedure that way. Our jurisdiction is just to allow the license to change ownership.
And everything's completed. The fees are all paid. The background checks have been completed. There's nothing in this application that should hold up the approvals.
All right, roll call.
Council members, Granville Brady.
Yes.
Tom Mitchell.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Teresa Bonner.
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Good, I look forward to seeing that application, if not by the end of this year, certainly in the early spring of next year. It's an important spot, And Kyle, let's remember that we have to put a condition that they fix the clock.
Agreed.
They're already looking into it.
Are they? Yeah, because that clock has been immobile for,
Well, we'll just send Andy down to Nanny.
no, it is a very important part of our history, and it would be nice to bring it back.
He wants to restore it anyhow there.
There's actually a fallout shelter or a civil defense shelter in the basement of that.
I want the dining room in the hall.
All right, we have one more resolution, 316, authorizing a professional contract service agreement with CHA Consulting, Inc. to include engineering, review, and inspection services for playground construction at the A&A Somerville LLC Block 50, lots 13 and 14 project. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
All right, Ms. Stravik, you had a question.
Question and comments. I'm very concerned to see this on the agenda again. We talked about this, we pulled it last time because of the comments regarding contamination. This is an insult to the Environmental Commission, who spent a lot of time reading reports. It says, first of all, never made it to the public agenda. I did not get a revised copy of this agenda until we came to the meeting tonight. Second of all, it says that it is determined that the comments received do not lend itself to another meeting with Geosyntek. So who determined that? Not me.
Yeah, no,
And
we could-
I am promoting the fact that we get the soil tested. It is the only guaranteed way. Why are we going to pay for another company to come in? Are we looking for somebody to give us the answer we want? Or somebody wants? Why are we not making a resolution that says, let's get the soil tested,
Yeah,
hire a
so,
company to test it?
Councilwoman, so the governing body had directed me 2 weeks ago to remove it off the agenda, which the mayor did. They also directed me to get the comments from the Environmental Commission, which was received. Those comments were then sent to Geosyntek. That line that you're reading could come out of the resolution. That's not a substantive line. It actually should come out. So I apologize, that's in there. And then the governing body agreed to rehear this.
I don't remember being asked to rehear it.
All right, well then, if you don't, that's fine. If I'm incorrect on that, you can certainly authorize to decline it, pull it. The comments that I was provided by the governing body was to provide the comments to provide the reports to the Environmental Commission.
Which was done.
Which
Thank you.
was done, and get a review by them.
And I also provided comments to the Geosyntek representative who Graham Brady sent to me to speak with.
Okay.
So again, I'm not sure why or how this ended up here, because we have professional people who sit on the Environmental Commission that have read the reports. They make their best recommendation. I don't think you need to be a professional if you just read the two reports that say there's possibility of contamination. So why would we think about entertaining this to get a third party in, spend more money when we could just hire someone to test the soil?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I agree with both Gina and Kevin. I think we could take that and amend that resolution tonight to delete that part of it. This is a resolution essentially to take a project that has been in the works for 44 months. I have the invoices from the planner manager who has worked on this since February of 2020. In reference to what Gina was saying, there has never been any invoice that shows anyone has taken a look at this until now. So my support is for the resolution to change horses. One of the definitions of insanity is when you do the same thing over and over again and get the same result. I believe that at this point in time, the company that's been handling this project needs to be replaced, and therefore, that would be my recommendation, that we do it with the proviso that the clause in there about Geosyntek be removed.
Why don't we just ask for the testing to be done? Why are we going to hire another consultant? We've had two reports.
This is not to hire another consultant. This is to replace the company that has spent 44 months and tremendous amounts of escrow money on a plan and has never looked at the site. This has nothing whatsoever to do with hiring another, this is replacing someone. What we're saying is, we feel that the company that's been doing it...
Who's we, Grant?
I feel that way, if you want
Thank
to
you.
know the truth. I have 44 months of information about this project.
So the developer had 44 months to provide a clean test.
May I stop? May I stop you a minute?
Sure.
Why do we have, it's taken longer to do the stupid playground than it's done to do the emergency services facility? I mean, it's time to now change horses. This is the time to do it, and I call the question.
Is it the developer's responsibility or our responsibility to provide a clean soil test and safety to our public? It's the developer's land, not ours.
We have to be assured when we take title to the property that it's clean.
So why wouldn't we have a test done? And why would we?
We can accept the developer's report, or we can have our own as well. We do this at the planning board with traffic studies. We don't just take a report from one side. We have
We have two reports.
We have a firm, CHA, that has served us well on the landfill, which is a huge project. This would engage them, would hire them to, I hope, get the soil tested, get the deed to the property, and have the playground built.
Again, why do we need to do that? Why can't we just ask the developer to have the soil tested? Why couldn't the developer do that for 44 months?
No, Your Honor, I think this is also to replace the company that has been doing this, not just to look at the soil, but to look at the project, what's being constructed, how it's being constructed. That has been bandied back and forth for almost 4 years now.
I don't think
That's
there's
the whole point.
any concerns with that. The concerns are with the soil. Is the soil clean or not? We have two reports that say that it needs further investigation. You have people that have weighed in on time and energy to give you that report, and all we've done is insult their work and spend more money for the borough by hiring another company. I don't even know why we'd have to hire another company. Just get the soil tested and get the provider, the developer to provide the test, and then whoever wants to review it, it doesn't matter in terms of whether it's the new company, Geosyntec, Mike Cole, whatever. Just let's get the soil tested.
Yeah, I think we have to get this, we have to take the initiative of getting the soil tested, hiring somebody to test the soil. And if the way I read it, CHA was that somebody says they were going to complete the reviews and inspection. I assume that means the soil testing.
Let's not assume, right?
So tonight, what's on in front of us, what was supposed to be in front of us the last time, was to replace the planner for the project. That's it.
That's it.
That's what's happening at this point. Further testing of the soil would be dealt with, that's not part of this particular item that we're voting on.
No.
That would be something that would happen once the new planner is in place. The soil testing is not part of this resolution to bring in a new planner. Once we have CHA online, if that's what we decide to do, then we would move forward with our directions with that planner and as well with Kevin to move forward. CHA is not the planning, the two are mutually exclusive.
Right.
That I think is where this has gotten a little muddied in our discussions. What this is saying that we're taking the current planner of the playground, moving them from that, and putting CHA in their place.
Does CHA test soil?
CHA is a planning company. CHA will work with us. We would bring in someone to test the soil.
More than likely, someone that they've subcontracted with, if they don't have someone. I assume they have someone on their own staff. They are one of the preeminent environmental engineering firms in the region.
The only holdup, I think, with our current planner is that he wants a clean bill of health on the soil. So whether that's the case or not, Grant's shaking his head no, I don't know exactly, but I can't see us approving anything unless we're going to say we're going to commit to testing the soil.
Can we amend this so that where it says complete the reviews and inspection, can we add the phrase including soil testing?
That would be up to the discretion of
Yeah,
the consultant
this
that we
is really a
have, huh?
professional, yeah, I was gonna say, this has turned into a contract issue. It's not a soil test issue.
So if we
So,
hire
I mean,
CHA and
if you wanna make
CHA,
a-
go ahead, Kevin.
I'm gonna say, if you wanted to make a motion separate from this, that's certainly appropriate and vote on that. But this is strictly to make an administrative change with the professional.
All right, I think we've had enough discussion on this. We have a motion and a second.
So moved.
No,
We have
we've had that already, yeah.
That public comment already happened.
Well, we didn't know
Okay.
that this was gonna be on the agenda. It wasn't on the email agenda. So I would have addressed a lot of this
Kevin?
stuff. 10
It
minutes.
was added late.
Yeah, it was late, not until we walked in the room.
All right,
It
well,
wasn't on the agenda.
I would make an exception then, since it was not originally listed. I'll motion to open public comment.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Council members Granville Brady,
No.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Mr. Cleveland.
Thank you.
Wait, hold on,
I'm sorry, Kevin.
it's a learning curve for me.
Oh. Let me reintroduce myself. My name is Larry Cleveland. I live at 34 Grant Avenue in Somerville. I'm on the Environmental Commission, and I'm on the Planning Board. Changing the engineering company does not change the facts. 4 years or 44 months of asking for, is the soil clean, and not getting a direct answer, the soil is clean, is not Mike Cole's fault. We can change the engineering, and if they're gonna sign off on it and say it's okay, then you got it. But they came to us asking for, the environmental, asking for an interpretation. We gave an interpretation. We told you all we want to get the soil tested just simply for common sense and to be sure. These are children. Maybe not your children, but they're somebody's children. And that's the worst part. We cannot move forward on this without getting a guarantee that they're gonna test the soil. So if CHA wants to test the soil, fine, somebody's gotta test it. If you wanna go back to GeoSync and make them test the soil, fine. When you look at the reports from GeoSyntech, they did not even know that there was an almost 18-foot pile of soil on that property because they're looking at aerial views. They didn't know. You know who told us this? Our own DPW director said, don't forget that. Oh, yeah, and we have pictures to prove it. Now the soil's gone, where did it go? I don't know. But we should not be changing anything until we can get a guarantee that we're gonna test the soil. Test the soil, and no, you may not even have to change the engineer. If the soil report comes back and says, it's fine, it's safe for children, we can mitigate it, we can do whatever we have to do, then Mike Cole can sign the report, and this is all done. This seems like punishment. That's how I look at it. It's just punishment. It's vindictive, it's punishment. That's how I see it. There's no reason for us to go forward with any changes until they test the soil. Test the soil. What's the reluctance for testing the soil? How much could it cost to test the soil? And it's not even our responsibility. It's supposed to be the developer. They're supposed to do it. So if that's part of it, they've been hiding, or I don't know what it is. But every time you look at a report, there's different dates and different times, and they hadn't really looked at it since 2001. And then they said, well, maybe we did a little bit, but nobody's ever said we tested that plot of land and there's no problem. They dug the soil up from behind where the buildings are now and staged it there with no ground cover, no kind of seepage barrier, nothing. So maybe it's clean, maybe it's not. Do you know if it's clean? Do you know if it's clean? I don't know if it's clean because we don't have a report that says it's clean. These are children. These are our children. These are future children. 10 years from now, maybe something pops up. Now we have a problem because we didn't get it tested. We should know. we should know. Again, this is shameful, that we should be looking at it to be sure that our children are safe, and then we can move forward. If we can't do that, what are we doing? Thank you.
All right.
Move to close.
Motion to close.
Move to close.
Council,
I need a second on that.
thank you, sorry. Council members, Granville Brady?
Yes.
Tom Mitchell? Gina Stravic?
Yes.
Roger Vroom? Teresa Bonner?
Yes.
Randy Pitts?
Yes.
All right, back to the original resolution. We have a motion and a second to authorize a professional services agreement with CHA Consulting to include engineering review and inspection services for playground construction at the A&A Somerville LLC Block 50, lots 13 and 14 project. We have a motion second, roll call.
Mayor, I just, again, are we amending that line, remove it? I suggested that we did. I think Ms. Stravic.
Are we amending it to add soil testing?
Well, now I'm asking you if you were amending it. Listen, the governing body, just so you're aware, it's your call. Like, I'm just providing information. I was suggesting that we amend it because it didn't seem like anybody had an issue getting rid of that particular phrase because it may not
The injury's
apply.
already there, Kevin. I don't know what the point of that, removing that is. I think the point is, are we going to get it soil tested or not?
Okay, I was just responding to your comment regarding that particular paragraph that you weren't favorable
The
to.
initial motion was made by who? Grant,
I
would you want to amend your original resolution?
Well, first of all, Your Honor, yes, I want to delete that whole paragraph because I don't think it's germane to the issue of how we want to proceed with the
Which
project.
whereas is that one, for the
It's
record?
top, I guess, of the last page. I don't see any reason why we even have to mention geosyntax since they're not a party to this action at this point.
Right, they're not mentioned, they're not part of the
So
contract.
I would amend it to.
Delete that paragraph, okay.
And to just proceed with the resolution, which is the appointment of a engineer planner to continue the work. And then I would suggest after that particular vote is taken, that we might have a voice resolution to do what Councilwoman Stravic suggested.
Kevin, could we add that without having that on the agenda, or should that be on the next meeting?
I don't want to leave it to another
That would
meeting.
just be a motion. You're not really doing,
A motion to
Yeah, I
have
mean-
it, Kevin?
Yes.
It's a motion to have
That's
a
fine.
resolution for the next meeting for that.
It's a project we want to just move on, so
Yeah,
if
we wanna
anything
move
that
on
could
to it,
expedite
right.
the process would be helpful.
I just want to be sure that it can't be challenged, that we're doing everything proper. Jeremy, you okay?
Yes.
All right, would you
So
amend your second then?
what are we,
Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
First thing you're doing is you're voting on the, is it 516?
Yeah.
316.
316, excuse me, which is as amended to remove the paragraph that Granville Brady discussed. And then. you're also-
Paragraphs.
Paragraphs. And then you're also going to entertain another motion to determine whether or not you would like to authorize soil testing. Is that my understanding?
Yes.
So it's two separate motions.
All right, so let's,
Does that make sense?
So I
So we're
think we have
vote-
to do the first motion first, and then.
Voting on 516 as amended by Councilman Brady.
316.
a yes is for the amended version with deleting the paragraphs in question. Thank you. Roll call.
Council members, did we have a first and second on the amended resolution?
Yes.
Yeah,
Brandon, Randy.
Council members, Granville Brady,
it's late, yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
no?
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Teresa Bonner.
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
All right. Now, we want to entertain a motion for a resolution to add, Jeannie, you want to run with this? Soil testing?
Authorize soil testing.
I was going to say, you want to make it in resolution form?
Yeah.
It would be basically requiring that soil testing be conducted at the site and
By the
accepted
owner?
prior to
By the developer,
any.
yeah, the owner?
By the current owner.
Prior to the time that the property is turned over.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Are we consistent that it has to be done by the owner?
Yes.
Well, that would be
Okay.
the motion.
Well, the only thing I would suggest was that is if there's an opportunity to have it done by somebody else, why
Look,
would?
it's the developer's responsibility, and the developer's been holding up the process, not us.
I know, Councilwoman, but I'm very goal-oriented. I just want to make sure that if
If the developer wants to give us the keys to the land, then the developer needs to get it done. That's their goal end, not ours.
I know, Councilwoman, but again, I'm not debating or arguing with you, but if the developer was to pay us for the cost of that development, wouldn't we do it? Or why are we very fixated on them doing it? And again, I just think that's a common,
As long as
that's a
they're paying
common
for
way
it.
to get to the end goal in a lot of our issues we deal with, was that we may take on that responsibility with a charge to them. If that's not an option on the table, then that's fine. I'm just looking for a way to move this to
Are we
the
short payment?
finishing.
If the resolution says that they have to pay it, then they have to pay it.
They would either do it themselves or put an escrow up, and we would do it and bill them
So just that they pay for it.
at their expense.
So then it,
Could we word it that way?
Yeah.
That the site investigation be conducted at the owner's expense?
Correct.
That covers both scenarios. If they think they can hire a firm and do it, you know, without an escrow to us, CHA is going to review it anyway.
And it's not something that the borough would consider it doing itself, since it will ultimately own that park.
Yeah, the borough doesn't have the expertise to do soil.
No, the borough would contract for a third party. I'm saying, I just want to make sure I understand this correctly, that despite that we'll own the park, that we would not pay for it nor do any testing. I'm just saying, if there's a possibility to move this project along, and the municipality has to pay for the infrastructure maybe that they're posting, that we're able to use that money that they're posting, that we'll use. And it's a different way of getting things done. So I'm just very, I would like that flexibility of getting a project done. And there's ways to get to the goal and the end than the normal way of just, saying to the developer, you do it. There's other ways of getting to the finish line.
I think my only
I agree.
concern
I think
here
we might
is
have
that
to- we might have to take the initiative, do it, and then bill them for it, instead of telling them to do it, and then we're sitting like birds in the wilderness while they twiddle their thumbs.
Let's
The
go back.
developer does post infrastructure trust money for us that we have the ability to use at our discretion, so that's what I'm saying.
that might be better, because we have already dipped our toes in the pond, because we did pay for Geosyntec to do a review of the documents. So I don't want to say that we are involved in it, let's put it that way. I think the best way to do it would be to share in the cost between the developer and the borough, since we are getting a piece of property, at no cost, free. Now, the other option, I imagine that the developer could have is to withdraw the gift.
Dr. Brady, I think the important thing, and I think the ultimate goal, and I'm sure it's what the Environmental Commission and what our neighbors would like, is if we do find or contaminated soil is found, that we are not the ones paying for remediation.
Right.
And I think that is the fear of what I've heard from my constituents in regards to this, is that if there is soil that is not within the limits, that if the developer is not involved in this situation,
It's on us.
that it would be on us to remediate that, and we've already done that, we've capped other places in town, we don't wanna get to that point. I think that is Councilwoman's concern in conversations, so I believe that is the ultimate thing now. As Kevin is saying, if there's money already available, that's been already paid by the developer, and we can utilize that, that's great. And I think that could go certainly in the resolution. Again, the concern is leaving us on the hook. If there is something that's there, the keys are turned over, and now we have to remediate that site.
Let's refer back to what I suggested, that the site investigation be conducted at the owner's expense.
Sounds good.
I'll buy that.
so moved.
Second.
That was easy.
Council members,
No, we have a motion and a second. Any more questions? Let's vote.
Council members Granville Brady.
Yes.
Tom Mitchell.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom. Teresa Bonner.
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Kevin, would you communicate that with the, or have Jeremy communicate that to the property owner's attorney, because it may wind up there anyway? All right. Thank you, council, for a thorough airing of a variety of opinions. Democracy at work. Bills and vouchers.
Is it that time again, Your Honor? Thank you very much. I'm moving the payment of bills and vouchers in the amount of $1,142,534.77, and that's my motion.
Second.
Council members Granville Brady.
Yes.
Tom Mitchell.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Teresa Bonner.
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Before I close for adjournment, at Fire Inspection Day on the weekend, I had a chat with some of the firemen who were actively involved in the light parade. And unfortunately, or fortunately, for the past several years, the parade has been funded by, to a large part, donations from these several individuals. People have constraints on their budget, and I get letters from every charitable organization in the world every day. But and this goes out to the business community as well as to the residents. If you have any means at all to help fund the Lights Parade, it's just a great, fun event. It brings fire departments from all over the area. It brings business to town. It brings diners to town. I'm not in a position to tell people how to spend their money, but our fire department, our firemen, firewomen give their time, their talents, their energy to serving us. Randy, if you would take it to the DSA and just to the general public. Roger, is there a fund set up, do you know, for donations to the light parade? Could you check with the organizers and
I know there's a flyer coming out. I have not seen the flyer. They discussed it at the at Inspection Day, but when we have it, I'll make sure it gets circulated.
I know they've already arranged for the food to be donated, which is a big help. I believe some of the trophies are being donated, again, which is a big help. But at the end of the day, it still costs, some private funding. And I think that some of us could, in some way, network with people and groups that we're, connected with. We don't, the fire department doesn't ask for much. They don't stand out like some departments do with boots outside the mall asking for, coin donations. I don't ever want it to come to that. But if you can at all, find it in your, in your change purse or in your couch cushion to
Or if there's a sponsor, you can get a sponsor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Mitchell.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? See you in 3 weeks. The way the calendar falls, we'll be here on November the 6th.